Everyone. Before we get into this evening's live, I'd like to go over a few talking points about what I think is going on here in the crypto market. And I think we need to look long and hard here because we know into the future, and I'm not even going to hold any bones this evening. We know into the future, there is no doubt about it. Zero iota, zero zip, kazilch. You don't even have to ask me 10 times because this is the only plan in town and this is the only game in line. I should have said this is the only game in town and this is the only plan put in place. Yeah, that sounds a hell of a lot better. And gold is telling us all. Gold is telling us all what is about to happen. We are going to get, if we get 3 rate cuts, they're going to be at least 75 basis points, I think. And I know it came out a report that said like 2 or 3. I think they're trying to set this up for more than 3, but I wouldn't be surprised by anything at this point. But I also know they're setting this up for a short-term switch to quantitative easing because they want to get out of quantitative tightening. The fact they want to do both simultaneously, we're going to usher in a new bull market in cryptocurrency because make no mistake about it, we're in a bear market right now. And I don't care. You know, some people get mad when I say it, but I don't care. It's a bear market right now. Be thankful that some things are in a bear market, like XRP at $1.98 and Bitcoin at almost 80K. But we are in a bona fide bear market, and that's why we can't seem to hold on to anything. And even when we make gains, we have our shorts on, we buy our belt, and then we get liquidated, and all of a sudden we have only left in our fucking underwear, is how it feels in the market. So that's how it's been feeling. Soon, you're going to buy your belt, and then you're going to be able to buy suspenders as well to hold your pants up along with the belt, I'm assuming. I don't actually know. I don't think I've ever wore suspenders, but you get the point. We'll be able to buy more. So, but I'm just saying, I think this whole setup now, after we hit $1.63 and Bitcoin at 74K, we were within that price area of understanding. From, yeah, maybe it could have dropped 20%. But if you were doing a layer down scenario, you wouldn't have done it from 108 or 95 or 90 or 80. You would have done it from 74, 75, somewhere near, down to 64 if it happened. Just like for XRP, you wouldn't have done it at $3 or $2.50 or $2.20 or $1.90. $1.63 on that chart and on the pattern ended up being the sweet spot. You never know until you do. And then on the back test, where's the, yeah, right here where it back tested, old pattern formation, and that was the resistance / support. Now support went all the way around, support went all the way around, hit it again on support, and that's the sweet spot, assuming it doesn't come down to that 150 fair value gap, and that's where you could buy it from there. And then if it had gone down, you could have swung it down. That's why I gave my blessing before this rally up that, hey, we're within that percentile now. We talked about it yesterday, and I continue to talk about it. I think it's an opportune moment that's going unnoticed, but the biggest opportune moment that is going unnoticed, and I'll turn the comments on probably around 6 o'clock. I've thought this out long and hard, but I think when I'm getting through my opening thesis, until I do my intro, I'm going to keep the comments off so I can flow freely. And then I'll go back on my phone after, and if anything stands out of relevance, you know, if somebody were to join Tom's army, if there was a super chat, if there was a comment that stood out, then I would go to it. So I want to make sure that I get through these points here in a more transparent way, but not just that. I have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I think once I start looking at comments and stuff, sometimes I forget what I'm doing, and then if it's not set up properly, like I have a strange feeling that this live is set up in the small setting. And I don't really like that feeling. But as long as I don't look, then I won't know for sure. Well, I know for sure it is set up like shit. But anyhow, I would rather be here today instead of worrying about if the screen's in small or large scale. And be able to actually talk. You all know who are watching when I look at these comments. You all know what's going to happen. I know it. You all know it. Because I can already tell the way it's set up when I first set up my stream that it wasn't working properly. So I had 2 choices tonight. 1, I was going to do my stream. Or 2, I was not. And I chose today to do my stream instead of worrying about the damn screen. Because that was it. I had no choice. And like I can tell when I set up my, tried to set up for the BITUNIX link and stuff, when it wasn't showing the link, I'm like, oh, it's set up in vertical. So anyhow, I'm not going to let that throw us off. So gold today, so we'll just have to deal with it. And I appreciate the 138 people here. I apologize what I foresee as a small screen, but I'm not going to let it ruin my day. The US dollar is down to 100.98, down 1.87% or $1.92, which means crypto should be getting a little more expensive here. Not that there's a correlation, but a weaker price means more expensive buying. And at the same time as these raised tariffs, and that's another thing we'll get into this evening, the lie that we were told yesterday, that momentarily spooked the markets. Not too bad. It's here by 541. We'll take it. Did they give us the right pan? Will that work? Oh yeah, okay. But gold's up $93. Julie, gold's up $93 again today. Up to an all-time high at $3,175. Up better than 3.03%. Barrett Gold's up 2.34% to $19.24. B2 Gold's up 5.52% to $3.06. Seeing it never adds it. I'm going to do it on here. But Pan America Silver, I have after a downturn not too long ago. And I don't know why. It's on my phone. But every time I go on here to show it, it's never on here. And I don't understand why. I ended up flipping not too long ago. Like, I think it was like 6 weeks ago, roughly. I flipped out of Newmont Mining. And I can always forget until I looked at my portfolio today. And I flipped into Pan America Silver so that I'd have more of a reach in the silver market instead of just like the world's largest mining company. I decided to go for more of a silver miner. And I wanted to expand. So now I have 3 silver miners and 2 gold miners. And that's the way I want to stick it out. So the way it sits right now, I have 100 Pan America Silver shares. I have 1,003 Fortuna Silver Mines, 1,002 First Majestic. I have 3,008 3,012 B2 Gold. And 222 Barrett Gold shares. And I'm pretty comfortable because I think these mining stocks, even if you don't have gold right now, like Peter Schiff echoed it, what I've been saying today finally, there's no reason to buy gold at this point. You might as well buy the mining companies because they're so damn cheap. Like these mining companies that I hold, they're valued for gold at 2,000, not even 2,000, yet alone 3,000 plus. So they got to at least triple or quadruple to get to where they should be. I'm being dead serious. I think this is going to be the steal of the century here. While everybody's paying attention to crypto and everything else, mining stocks have been paying me out the wazoo here lately. Even with the bad day, 2 days in a row, it completely reversed those losses. And here we are once again. B2 Gold's up 5.5%, up to $3.06. And I'm telling you, eventually here, I'm not going to be talking about it at $3. It's going to be at 5, 6, 7, 8, and then beyond. And it's finally going to get over the double-digit mark like it should. But that's neither here nor there, but I'm going to continue to briefly talk about it so nobody can be like, oh, he never talked about it when he should have. We've been talking about mining stocks a lot more lately because I'm excited. I just think there's a tremendous opportunity developing, and I think that most people are being swayed. And it just continues. You know why I believe this even more? Look at all the money that's sitting on the sidelines. A lot of people are perceiving this as a bad thing. I think this is a great signal of why it's time to buy. You know, and I said it before this rally up, so now you got to make another decision. If you didn't buy it before this move up here on Wednesday, and if you're in the Telegram, you would have seen what I posted literally hours before this move happened. It was literally hours. And when I gave the blessing, but I talked about it the night before too in the live, because what got my attention is, one, we know we're going into quantitative easing. Two, we know we're going to have rate cuts, and they're positioning for multiple, probably more than we suspect, even though they're going to play it off. Like a lot of people, oh, well, I see all these right. Of course, they're going to tell you not what's going to happen. You're not going to know until it happens. And then when it happens, it's going to be too late because it's going to be a reaction to what the news is. You got to be reactive before the news actually comes out. Like, that's the thing. When you're being reactive, it can't be after the fact. If you react after the fact, well, then you're just doing what the generic public is doing. You're just buying the FUD. XRP will reign supreme. Just don't forget the FUD. That's why I say it every time. Don't forget about the FUD, because otherwise you could be the person buying into the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And in this case, it would be like, oh, the news came out and XRP rallies up to 229, and now you're like, oh, I gotta buy it now, but you weren't gonna buy it when it looked like a bull flag, possible bullish Gartley was about to form. Don't shoot the messenger. Some people get mad when I talk bearish today. I don't got no reason. You would think I'd be the bearish person in town right now, wouldn't you, with the way it looks? I actually feel pretty freaking good right now with the way the charts look. We got a perfect back test. We've got a perfect setup. IOTA, with its recent movement, I've got a nice amount of IOTA. For the first time in a long time, I have a trade on BITUNIX that's a levered trade, and it has IOTA, and it comes out to about just over 33,000 tokens, but it's got plenty of room to work down. I'm not worried about a liquidation, but it is a levered trade. I'm not going to say how much of a levered, but it comes out to 33,000 tokens, and it's because I bought this back test, and when it formed this second low, I decided to take a shot here. I posted in the Telegram how I thought imminently we're about to start breaking out, and it was a couple hours ago, but it was on this reversal candle as it was starting to pull through the reversal. I didn't know it was going to be a reversal when I put it, but I felt like it might be. And if this plays out, I believe, and I have a strong case here, and it's not like it wasn't the biggest leverage trade in the world. It was a $500 trade, but then I'll just say, like, you exit around, like, I don't know, 10x or so. But it makes it a 33,000 plus holdings of IOTA. And the target right now would be up to 1740 on that first push. But I'm not looking to sell it at all. I'm looking to ride this up now into totality if that's what it's going to let us do. And obviously I'll have a break point if it comes down to where I would just sell it and try to rebuy it on the formation. But this is my strategy now on BITUNIX. I'm going to try to hold IOTA on a little bit of leverage. It doesn't have to be a lot. And every time it's more successful, I'll have more money in, less leverage out. So it's very risky, but I'm buying a positioning here. So we'll see what happens. This is the same strategy I used to have with IOTA because it's not on my other exchanges. So I try to put less capital in, but still hold 3 or 4 times more than I would have. But it's still risky. I don't encourage anybody to do it, but I'm just being straightforward. I think IOTA might be setting up for something here. And if it goes backwards, I have fail safes that would cost me about $100, but we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. There's a lot of room to be working here. But yeah, that's just the way I see the market lining up. So, and then in the news, we have a couple things with the SEC with Ripple. Another reason why I didn't want to turn comments on until we get to where we need to go. But we have Ripple versus the SEC, because the SEC came out now, and I don't know if it was a request by the SEC, but the regulator files urgent request with Judge Torres. So they didn't say that they're getting rid of the case. In fact, there's a new filing, which is pretty interesting. I don't know what I put, but so let's get into this. Let's do the intro. We'll read this, and then we'll get into the chart. I'll turn on the comments. It's been about 13 and a half minutes. I know it's in vertical today, but there's nothing I can do about that, and we're just going to deal with it the way it is. So good evening. 5:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, April 10th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I do thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate 145 of you staying. I know it sucks because it looks like, to me, it is in the, yeah, it's in vertical, which, it is what it is, I suppose. But at least we're here together. There's something to be said for that. Tom, you chose violence today. I don't know if I chose violent. Well, maybe. Smash that like button. I hope my phone doesn't die. Don't die again. Thanks for all you do. Oh, you're welcome. Bear market up 310%. Let's go. Yep, see, I knew it was small. I seen some commenting about it. I apologize for that. I apologize. But yeah, the tariff scam that some are talking about, because Trump said the tariffs, we had a 90-day hold, like they were pausing it. That's not true. They just raised the China tariff to 142%. So something we bought from China, which is everything, like, and not because I want to buy it from China, just everything's from fucking China. Like, everything is from China. I can't help it. It's not that I want to buy it from China, but I don't know where it's coming from. But every time I look at the tag, it's always from China. Even if it's a more expensive item, I open it. I'm like, fucking China. China. So, you know, what you got to deal with everything in America. So now if I buy something for $100, it's going to cost $242. So that's how a tariff works. If you don't know that, you're going to know it when you buy something from these countries because you're not going to be able to get rid of the pricing. Look, it's not even showing me comments today either. Isn't that crazy? So many problems on YouTube. It's a shame. It is a shame. But you know they're not going to stop us. We'll still do it, even if it's annoying. The Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit has taken another turn, with the commission filing an opposition to a request from a non-party. Here, we'll just play their game, whatever. I'll play their game today. It might actually, I don't know which way I'm going to have to do this. Let's see. It's just I'm going to have to try to make this the best I can. Because this will probably be easier for everybody to see. It's just when I look up at it, might look weird, but I think that's probably, if it's going to make me do it in vertical, we might as well try to do it right. Can I ask you a question? No, it's not true though. It's not all countries but China. I'm just curious. Does this at least make it look a little easier to see? If I have it like this? Because if it's in vertical, I'm going to try to at least do it in. Oh, yeah. We could do that. That's a good idea. When we're in vertical, we'll do it like that. Yeah, good idea. I don't know, though. I was waiting to see if it makes it easier to see. I feel like it does. Should have seen True Social set on April 9th. Good time to buy. It's coming. Yes, you get a mini Tom picture. That's right. Okay, yeah. I thought it would be better like this. Just because if it's going to be in vertical, I might as well put it the way it's meant to be. I can switch my tablet, you know? So I'm glad one person at least was like, yeah, he's actually asking a real question. Okay, so let's finish this. So here we go. So Ripple versus the SEC sees new twist in the filing. Oh, man. Twist with filing from commission. In an ex-post, journalist Eleanor Tourette revealed that the commission has filed an opposition to the emergency request to present decisive evidence in the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit in favor of the crypto firm. Justin W. Keener filed this request, and the regulators filing argued with Judge Annalisa Torres shouldn't grant it. First, the regulator argued that the request is improper because the Ripple vs. SEC is currently on appeal in the Second Circuit. As such, the district court lacks the jurisdiction to intervene in the matter and cannot grant the request. The commissioner cited previous cases that back this point of how a sufficient notice of appeal divest the district court of jurisdictions. Secondly, the commission argued that Judge Torres should deny the request because non-party Justin Keener has not moved to intervene in the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit. The regulator claimed that even if the request is seen as a motion to intervene, the request would still be inappropriate. The SEC noted that the court has already denied a similar motion to intervene brought by third parties. And I want to read this. I think this is important. I'm assuming we can even see it. So let's see. Dear Judge Torres, Plaintiff Securities and Exchange Commission SEC hereby opposes the emergency request to present decisive evidence, ECF number 981, filed by a non-party on April 3rd, 2025. the request for the following reasons. The court should deny the request in its entirety. First, the request is improper because the subject matter to which it relates, the court summary judgment order and imposition of remedies, is presently on appeal such that this court lacks jurisdiction to entertain the request. The filing of a timely and suffice, blah, blah, blah. Timely suffice of appeal, notice of appeal, divest the district court of jurisdiction as to any matter involved in the appeal, or as to the matters covered by the notice. Citations, blah, blah, blah. United States. So second, the request should be denied because isn't this crazy how crappy this looks like? I know I could go somewhere else, but I don't feel like looking at another spot. Non-party who filed it has not moved to intervene. Dismissing motion filed by third party who had not been granted leave to intervene, but to the extent the court constructs the request as a minimum or as a motion to intervene, intervention would still be inappropriate. Indeed, the court has already denied a motion to intervene brought by third parties who likewise sought to submit evidence in support of defendants. Third, the request should be denied because it is unnecessary. To the end, nothing appears to prevent the request file from sharing the evidence referenced therein with the defendants. Should that occur, the court has already determined that the defendant are exempt to decide whether any such evidence helps their case or helps their cause and should be brought to the court's attention. So that's what we're trying to, that's what's being brought up right now. So there's still some stuff going on with the case, so it's not like, oh, it's all over. As we're finding out slowly but surely here, it's not exactly, cut and dry here. So the regulator argued that the request to intervene should be denied because it's unnecessary. The lawyers noted that nothing stops Justin Keener from sharing the evidence with Ripple rather than requesting to share it with the court. So, I thought that's important. I do. Oh, I never turned the comments on. No wonder I can't see them. All right, so, we'll deal with what we got. I'm okay with it. Hey, I can see the comments. Oh, it's live. I know it looks weird because I put it in vertical. Or I put my screen to vertical. Yep, the Senate, or it is waiting for commission approval. Yeah, I know it's Nick. It's all the issues we always have, so it kind of sucks, that I got to do it like this. So I'm trying to, but this is how if I put it in vertical, this is the way it's supposed to look. This is the way I'm supposed to put my screen. I didn't want it in vertical. This is just what YouTube did. It's stupid. But with the title I put down, like if you're going to buy or if you're going to hold XRP, you're going to want to do it before they start talking about quantitative easing and before they start to lower rates. The quantitative easing is coming because we can't afford to keep paying these overzealous interest rates. So we can't continue to tighten the budget. It's we don't have a budget to do it. And with what Trump's doing, the only thing we can really expect is for them to go into quantitative easing. Tightening would be that they can, constrict the spending in their budget. They have the ability to not expand the money supply. They don't have that ability. We've got a interest payment coming due, and it's a rather large one. And the only way they're going to be able to do it is to expand the debt ceiling, which means they're going to have to ease. There's no way around it. So how do I know? Because it's already been laid in the deck of cards. Like if you're reading the guards and you're reading their hand, the hand's already showing they got no choice. They got no choice. There really isn't. Would we finish wave 5 or will we restart since we're in a bear? No, the bear market can still be a wave 4. As long as we don't break down that like $1.38 to $1.50. Now, the lower we go, the less of a chance we have to have this huge breakout. Because wave 5 can only be so large. But we haven't invalidated that 5 wave yet. I would argue if we hold $1.50, it's well within the playing cards. $1.38 would push it, but $1.50 is well within the cards. What we've done right now wouldn't invalidate this movement. But we could start a new wave count. I mean, it's not unheard of. But we'll see because we're in that defining moment right now. Stablecoins popping up everywhere. It's in our faces. It is. They are popping up everywhere. Bitcoin ETF record 127 million in outflows after Trump tariff pause. So Bitcoin ETFs record 127 million in outflows after Trump's tariff pause. So single day US Bitcoin ETF outflows reached 127 million, totaling nearly 800 million in 5 days. While ETFs declined, global stocks jumped, including Asia and Europe shares. This positive market impact, wow, there's a lot of traffic out there, may be short-lived as global economies expect China and U.S. trade wars to escalate. On April 9th, U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF saw 127.12 million in net outflows, despite President Trump's announcement of a 90-day pause on new tariffs. Trump's decision to delay trade tariffs, and that's on new tariffs. Notice the wording, on new tariffs. There's still an across-the-board 10% tariff, and then there's multiple other ones like China at 142% that are well over it. Trump's decision to delay trade tariffs propelled U.S. stocks upward, with the Nasdaq recording its best day since January 2001. However, the stock market surged. The pause failed to reverse the ongoing decline in Bitcoin ETF, showcasing a contrast in market reactions. Bitcoin ETF outflow streak extended to 5 days. According to BlackRock's IBIT, suffered the hardest hit, seeing 89.71 million in net outflows. Grayscale's GBTC followed, losing 33.8 million. Bitcoin ETF flow, let's see, net flow minus 127.2 IBIT, minus 89.7 F Bitcoin, 6.7 ARC, blah, 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 disclaimer. Smaller ETFs also struggled, with Wisdom Street's fund losing 5.7 million, while VanEck Hold recorded 4.7 million in redemptions. Bitwise's BitB stood alone as the only Bitcoin ETF to record gains, attracting 6.71 million during the same period. Meanwhile, although a smaller scale compared to Bitcoin ETFs, among the 10 Ethereum funds tracked, iShares ETHA and Fidelity's FETH experienced redemptions of 5.5 million and 5.7 million respectively. The remaining ETFs didn't record any activity. These losses came just days after another major sell-off between March 31st and April 4th. Bitcoin ETFs recorded 172.89 million in net outflows. The trend began on March 31st with 71.07 million leaving the market. April 1st saw a spike in redemptions, jumping to 157.64 million. I think this is invaluable information. You can see where the investors outside of the crypto exchanges, what they're doing with their money. The outflows persisted into April 3rd and 4th with 99.86 million and 64.88 million lost on these days. Only April 2nd showed signs of strength when a sudden inflow of 220.76 million briefly lifted investors' confidence. The latest outflows marked a sharp reversal from the previous 2-week streak of inflows that had brought in close to 941 million. Tariff diplomacy ignites global stock surge. In a true social on April 9th, Trump announced a 125% tariff hike on Chinese imports while delaying tariffs for another countries by 90 days. This unexpected pause provided immediate relief to financial markets battered by recent trade tensions. Stocks across the globe responded with enthusiasm. This unexpected European indexes, which were closed when the announcement was made, rallied sharply the next day. London's FTSE 100 jumped 6.2%, while Germany's DAX soared 7.8%. France's CAC 40 and Spain's IBEX 35 climbed 6.4% and 7.2% respectively. Man, a lot to read. And then European stocks soar after... a lot to read. And it's been a long day. Soar after Trump's 90-day tariff pause. So Asian markets were already open and surged immediately. Japan's Nikkei 225 jumped 8.68%. South Korea's Kospi rose 6.07%. Hong Kong Hang Seng gained 3.13%. U.S. stocks followed suit as they spiked 7.87%. However, today, we gave back 1,000 points in the Dow. So, you know, not all glorious. The Dow was down 1,000 points. It got down to about 1,800, and it bought back some, clawed back. The U.S. dollar is getting submerged. I would really, 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 really pay attention to silver. The silver miners, the gold miners. I don't think in a month or two when we're talking here, I don't think the prices are going to be where we see them. Let it burn into your head. The last time I said this, B2 Gold was at 250. You know, Barrick Gold was at 16. First Majestic was at under 5, and so was Fortuna when I said let it burn into your mind. So, Fortuna Silver Mine's price looks a little odd in the after hours. As it says, it's at 577, but up in after hours, so there's a glitch in that price. So, that happens sometimes. I would suspect it's still at $6.23 or close to it. But anyhow, let's get back to here. So XRP is at $1.97. It's going to be a little different looking at the chart today, but we're going to have to deal with what we have to deal with what YouTube tries to do all the time. Let's get to the right one. I mean, we've held this perfectly. We have held this perfectly so far. This little flag that we're trying to reverse out of, if it happens and the bottom's in so far on this consolidation we had over the last several hours, our target's going to be just a little bit higher. We should have $2. This is where we're going to test that 229 area, but technically it says 225.8. So right now XRP is technically, unless it's invalidated, and the invalidation comes if we fall below like $1.92, I would say. But right now we're working on a confirmation of about a 15% rally. About a 15% rally. So I know a lot of people probably expect me to come on talking bearish. I'm quite the opposite the last couple of days, haven't I been? Even if it was bearish, I still was talking positively for the last few days. Yesterday, obviously, you know, I felt like we were going to have a nice bounce, and we did. Now I kind of have I'm echoing the same feeling right now. Like we're working on another bounce here. But, you know, I think ZBCN, some were thinking like it was bad earlier, not even close. It was reconsolidating the push up. We back tested the neckline of what could be perceived as a bullish Gartley, pulled out of here, and now if it can ring out, we're going to have to get past the 0010. So we're going to have to flip a 0, get past there, and we could have a big surge here. I didn't buy this back for a 7 to 10% move, to be honest with you. I think it can come all the way back up here, which would bring us up about 55%. And then it could even do better. If everybody remembers what we drew out a long time ago, and now that it came back down into the range we need it, remember we drew this a long time ago, we just got 150% surge to create that movement up. Now if we come back up, it's going to be interesting. If it falls out, we already know how far it can fall. So we'll see if the market gives it the dynamic to have a nice surge here, which it very well could. I'm not that I'm feeling unoptimistic. I'm actually feeling more optimistic about this than not. And, you know, it was about 60% I had to wait after I sold it before I could buy it back because it had a massive dump off. And now I'm excited to hold it again. 2 million tokens. I got to see what that comment was about silver. I didn't even see it. Let me look at my phone. Still looking weird, you know, it looks weird to me looking at it like this. In the vertical, I hate it. But at least I put it in the best possible positioning so we can see it the best we can. So you think silver is going to go down? No. Quite the opposite. I think silver is going to be going up here. It doesn't mean in the short term it can't go down, but I think overall we got a long ways to go up. I see it can't start from the beginning in this format. Oh, really? Oh, see, that sucks. I hate vertical. But they're pushing this. This is what YouTube wants to take over what TikTok was doing, unfortunately. We get notices all the time to the creators about to try to expand into the stupid vertical. And I say, no, please no. I think silver. Interesting. But yeah, you know, it is something. It is something, but hey, I figure it's okay, not your fault. I know it's not my fault. It still sucks. You know? Oh, I just fell off the bridge. It wasn't my fault. No, I'm kidding. It's not like that. I wasn't standing on the side of the cliff, I promise, on the side of the ledge. Kryptonian, welcome in. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. I appreciate that. We are in spring. We should be towards that point of the accumulation. We should have, for all intents and purposes, gathered all we need to do for our next push up. But, you know, with all the news that comes out every day, it can change the game a lot of times. Well, we are in test, but eventually we're gonna have to switch away from that. The test or the and the supply zones or the demand. Eventually we're gonna break out of this little area and we're gonna be pushing more into like we are more in a consolidation though. Like you're right about that. But we're trying to get out of that. You know, we're trying to change the narrative here. Although Ethereum, man, it was down like 11% earlier. It's fought back a little bit. But with the big move we had yesterday, I mean, it's not a surprise that we would come down and try to retest, but the bad factor here is how far it came down. Like that's kind of scary a little bit. You know. How's it going, Julie?
I started the price.
Who?
Can I post our kitchen on Facebook?
I don't care. Why would you ask me that? Sure, Julie, you can post the kitchen on Facebook. You have my blessing to post your kitchen. Why not? Let's see. Someone just lost 10 million selling their crypto pawn. Who cares? XLM, let's see. XLM. No, I can't wait. We're about to eat dinner soon. It's a beautiful kitchen. Oh, thank you, Jorge. Thank you very much. Here, you know what I don't even know if everybody's actually you guys got to see it once, so it's good. It's a good. But yeah, it was definitely a big change. But in the daily, it's not that it's awful. I just would have liked to have seen higher closes. We still have to make up for this death cross. You know, once the 50 comes through the 200, it's a little more urgent. So, you know, we still have some work to do. We definitely have some work to do. We've XLM, it's another one, though, that feels like it's about to just give it a little bit of a bullish bounce here as well. And I base that on absolutely nothing except for a short-term reversal and gut feeling. But I could be wrong because there's so much BS news that's coming out and so many deceptive tactics that they do have a little, you know, they have a little bits in their back pocket that they can use if they want to reverse the market very quickly here. And that's what they've been doing in the last few days. And then they just kind of blame it on that. Something I've been excited to read about was the taproot with DGB. So DigiByte to activate taproot. I think this is a very nice thing. This was on April 7th, and I know some of my fans who like DGB, they are understanding of what this means. But DigiByte has activated taproot on its blockchain network. This upgrade introduces enhanced privacy features and improved transaction efficiency for users. So DigiByte is an open source blockchain and asset creation platform that originated as a fork off Bitcoin in January 2014. It focuses on enhancing the security capacity and transaction speed of the original Bitcoin blockchain. DigiByte introduces a multifaceted approach to improve upon Bitcoin's framework, utilizing 5 different algorithms to bolster its security features. The operational structure of DigiByte is composed of 3 layers: the core protocol with nodes that relay transactions, a public ledger, and a smart contract platform termed the App Store. This layered architecture enables DigiByte to offer a robust platform for the development and execution of decentralized applications, DApps. digital assets, and smart contracts, emphasizing enhanced security through its multi-algorithm approach. The native cryptocurrency of the DigiByte blockchain is DGB, Future DigiByte, OG, which serves as the primary medium of exchange within the network. DGB is used for transaction fees, which are paid to miners for blockchain validation services. The introduction of DigiAssets, a platform for launching digital assets and DApps that uses DGB as its native token, represents an expansion of DigiByte's functionality, catering to developers interested in deploying digital assets and smart contracts. Governance on the DigiByte network operates voluntarily, reflecting the commitment to maintaining an open source, publicly accessible network. One of the most secured and safest blockchains in the market, hands down. And now DGB, let's take a look at its chart. Holding over a big pivot point right now, which is nice to see. When you're over the top of that pivot point, at any moment, you can start to shoot up to this top region, which would be 116 at this point. Anytime you're below it, which we're tending to lean down that way a little bit, you can fall right back down here to 0079, and we're kind of taking the stairs up a little bit, which is not what you really want to see. You don't really want to have a little bit of a rising channel because that looks like a little bit of a bearish channel. So we got to get out of this. We got to have a little bit of a move. Otherwise, we could find ourselves back down near the 008 range. But we'll see. Only time will tell if we do indeed have to take another step down, or if we can have this nice little bullish reversal that it kind of feels like we're being told on a few different tokens here. And like IOTA is going to be one that's going to tell us very quickly, is this a reversal that is already set up here? Like, are we reversing? Have we reversed? Will this be the reversal? Because it looks like it could be a bullish reversal here in the 4-hourly. We back tested this structure breakout on this descending triangle. So if this is the case, I mean, this could be the start of a massive reversal back up. And a 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x could be on the table from this point. I'm being serious. Like, just from this point, I mean, not even getting back to the top, you're looking at a 3 to 4x. Now, the initial play is not 3 or 4x. The initial push up is to get up to 1740. But if you're looking at this in totality, it's got a long, long, long ways to go up. Very long ways, in fact. So, I don't know. I would pay a high attention to IOTA right now. Like I said, I have 33,000 tokens of IOTA. So, just, you know, it is what it is. So, we all have to make our own decisions. I'm a big fan of IOTA. Algo, I personally big fan of as well. I have 30 something thousand, 33, 34. Another one that back tested the breakout of the short-term descending wedge, almost looks like. And I thought that was going to propel us up, but, you know, it had to come down and consolidate more. But a nice little W reversal here, and if it does propel us, it should bring us up to 25 cents. I'm pretty confident about that. Now, if it breaks down and it doesn't break out of here, it's going to end up somewhere around 11 cents. And I'm confident about that as well if it has to do it. Because that would be the point, around 11 and a half cents. Death cross in the daily, so we're kind of going against the odds here. And going into the weekend, we need to do something, you know, going into Friday. So I think if we're going to have some kind of momentum, it would be on Friday. Yeah, I seen XCN had a nice move. Could that be the front runner? I'm glad somebody asked. I know it was up like 70% or something. I mean, it had a massive drop, so, you know, at least just having some kind of a... It's so crazy that a big move like that just got it to 1.6 cents. That is crazy. But not so crazy, because before the drop, or before that big pump, it was actually, you know, lower. But yeah, I mean, it could. This could be front running the market. Oh, it's only up 35. I thought it was up like 70% today. Did I missee that? Or did I have a... Maybe I misread it. So I swear when I seen it. Yeah, see, it was up a little bit more. Okay, so it was up like 50%. Not so bad. Oh, I don't like the format. You don't gotta tell me it's a weird format. This is YouTube forcing me to do it in vertical today, and instead of not doing a live, I just decided to go with it today instead of bitching about it, you know? I can bitch or I can just do it. And I decided to just do the live because I'm running out of time as it is. But yeah, a couple more minutes here and then I'm going to go because we're going to be eating dinner. I want to make sure to help Julie. I came on when I could, and with this format, it's not making me want to stay on any longer than I really am. I don't like the format. It bothers me. But yeah, if you're trading, if you're trying to buy something, if you're trying to not have such huge fees, you want the lowest spot and leverage trading fees, I encourage you to take advantage of it when we're down in the market. You know, not just that, but you want to do it where you don't have a huge fees. You don't want to, if you don't want to do KYC or VPN, like I don't, if I don't have to. You've got BITUNIX. They never got rid of XRP, even when the lawsuit was announced and through the whole thing. Lowest spot and leverage trading fees, lowest maker-taker fee. They have so many different things. I talked about IOTA and Algo and all those that you can buy. But yeah, I'm sick of giving my money away to the exchanges. So like, set it up now. Don't wait until later. Set it up now. And like, I send stuff from other places and I'll buy and sell. Send it back off if I have to, because then I don't have to pay the fees. I can still swing trade. You know, I can do low levered trades as well if I choose to. But the point is, even if I'm spot trading, I can buy and sell a 10 to 15% move and have very little, you know. So I think a good amount of XRP is 10,000 tokens. I know it sounds crazy right now because that's about $20,000, but that was my motto when we were at 30 cents, 35, 40 cents, 50 cents. I think 10,000 tokens is a good amount to have. Especially in some of these ISO tokens like Algo and IOTA and some of these other ones. I think that's a fair amount. Obviously, some will have more, some will have less, but that's a fair amount. But I'm going to go help Julie, everybody. It's been a fun night. I appreciate it. I'm glad we're able to get through like 50 minutes with this format, but this is all I can take. I have a blessed evening, everybody. Thank you all so much.